We will also get to speak with one of the governors in the country today, and the governor of Zamfara State, who tonight we've seen quite a lot of activities in that state, from agricultural activities to issues relating to empowerment. But how much of that are the people of the state hoping that will change their lives around? I've been joined by the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, Governor Dauda Lawal, who joins us live from Gusau, the capital of Zamfara State. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. Thank you. It's good to see you, Governor Lawal, again. And I see that there seems to be some effort being taken, and looks to me like they're deliberate effort, because I heard you speak about target of the harvest and the wet season farming, which are some of the things that a lot of people think that if we increase the cultivation, we might see a better harvest in the coming months. But how much of that do you think? You give out fertilizers, and we hear a lot of people taking those fertilizers, taking those seedlings and reselling or selling them. What is the confidence that you have about the process which you just started?
Well, thank you very much, Shaun. Like you rightly said, today you saw that we distributed, or that was yesterday, sorry, we distributed fertilizer across the state, but we did the flag up in the capital city of Gusau. And this is supposed to go around all the farmers across the 40 local governments up to the ward level. As you rightly know, Zamfara is an agrarian economy. We basically feed this nation. In the past. Yes, we're having challenge of security now, but that doesn't mean we should just sit down and not do anything. And for me, being an agrarian economy or an agrarian state, there's a need to help these farmers. And part of which was what we did yesterday by distributing these fertilizers across the 40 local government. And what we did was to set up a committee which includes the Honorable Commissioner of Agriculture, the sole administrators, police, DSS, civil defense, traditional rulers, to make sure this fertilizer goes round to the needy farmers. And I have absolute confidence that this will be done. This is not the first time we did this. During the dry season, we equally gave fertilizer free, as well as other farming implements, which include the seedlings, insecticides, modern technology that will increase productivity. And this is ongoing. And I believe it's a step forward to assist the needy farmers. And this will go a long way, Governor, in boosting production.
Yeah, what is your target?
Yeah.
What kind of produce are you looking at? What is the quantum of production that you're looking at?
Well, let me say this. We are looking on how do we enhance productivity. That is number one. Number two, by making sure you give incentives in agriculture or farming, it will help the farmers in terms of the yield. In a situation where they normally produce very minimal. What we're trying to do right now is to optimize that production. And that will go a long way in helping the farmers. And we're on the right track.
Yeah, Governor, you've not told me what is Zamfara State known for? In the wake of the banditry and some of the security problems that we've seen in the state, it has lowered and has badly decimated the ability of the state to produce agricultural products as much as it could. It has potential of doing. And those who will say in the past most of the production of agriculture has not really come into a commercial volume that the state can be so proud of. So what is your target in terms of
Sharon,
making food available?
Let me make a categorical statement. Let me make a categorical statement here. Zamfara State is an agrarian economy. Prior to all these insecurity challenges, Zamfara used to feed the entire Southwest in terms of food production. Not just food production also, but the cash crop, including cotton and the rest of it. And that is what we are known for. However, with the challenges in insecurity, it has slowed down the process. And what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to defy those challenges by making sure we encourage the farmers to go back to their farmlands and produce more. We're also handling the security situation in the state to make sure they have the ability to farm in their farmland. And that is exactly what we're doing. And I believe by doing this, it will increase production of these agricultural products, or rather the productivity will be much, much higher than even where we used to do that before. Remember, in those days, we're using the traditional method of farming, but now with modernity, we're bringing new tools that will increase productivity in agriculture. And if we sustain this, I believe is the right way, and I believe it will help the farmers a long way, and the yield will be much, much higher than it used to be in the past. And we're trying to change the narrative now from a state where it's facing so much insecurity issues to a state where also productivity will be the way forward. And that is why we're doing all this, and that is why we're distributing these fertilizers and other farming implements so that we can help the needy farmers. And that is what's ongoing, like you saw yesterday.
Yeah, so I'd like to put you to task, Governor Lawal, and perhaps also your analytical mind as a banker. I know that before you can give credit facility to your customer when you were in the bank, you would have gotten a commitment on what they wanted to use the facility for, how they hope to return to get back the money, the credit back into the bank. And I'm wondering, Zamfara State, under your leadership, you are not looking to be jack of all trade. Zamfara State cannot produce all food produce that is available. You must have a target. What is your target? Or you just wanted farmers in Zamfara State to be able to feed themselves? Is that the agenda that you have? Or you're not planning to get the whole nation to feel the effect of the agricultural strides that you are making?
Sharing is a combination of two factors. Number one, the ability of the farmers to produce food for sustenance. That is one. Two, there are other group of farmers that are beyond just for sustenance. They are also doing that for commercial purposes. What we're doing right now, the palliative we are giving is for the small farmers in order for them to be able to produce what they can eat in the moment. However, the large-scale farmers also will have a different approach in terms of how do we enhance or how do we encourage them to grow beyond just sustenance, but it's also for commercial purposes. For example, if you look at, we scale them in different groups. The smaller ones are the ones just for subsistence, while the other side is the ones for commercial activities. So the two goes hand in hand. And that is exactly what we're doing. And I believe by doing that, with all these crises we're facing in the country, there's shortage of food here and there, it will reduce that aspect.
Okay,
that's what we're doing.
So you,
like
what produce would you like
from
Zamfara State? I know that a lot of people know Zamfara State to be a mining center of the nation, although most of those mining are done illegally, and Zamfara State is not benefiting anything from it. But in terms of agricultural produce, what produce will you actually want Zamfara State to be noted for in all of these initiatives?
It is a combination of both maize, sorghum, rice, cotton, beans, and so on and so forth. Basically, we grow everything in Zamfara State. There is nothing that we don't grow in Zamfara State. So like I said, we're doing this in two stages. One is for the for food production, which is just for their own consumption. And then the other one is for the commercial quantity. And the two goes hand in hand.
Okay, so talk to us about the security situation. It does look like the bad stories that often come from Zamfara State. In fact, one holds its breath every day that breaks, hoping that one bandit attack or the other will come from Zamfara State. But thank God, it does look like some of those bad news had really gone down. Talk to us about what has happened in the recent past and how you are hoping to help the farmers go back to farm, those of them who have fled their farmlands over the last few years.
What we're trying to do right now is try to change the narrative. Like you rightly pointed out, whenever you heard about Zamfara, it's about insecurity or negative things about education, poverty, and so on and so forth. But what we're trying to do right now is change that negative perception to a positive one. Now, the issue of insecurity is something that we inherited for over a decade. And it is not something that we say, yes, we're going to solve that problem overnight. However, we're making conscious effort to make sure we face these security challenges head on. And it's part of the reason why last year we set up the Community Protection Guard, which are going to work, or rather they are working hand in hand with the conventional security in terms of combating this banditry and other criminal activities that is taking place in the state. And I will say that it has gone down drastically. Quite a number of people now are able to go to their farm. And what we're doing right now in conjunction with the CPG as well as other conventional security is to make sure people are able to harvest their farm inputs, or rather, so that at least it will douse down a lot of tension in terms of, the absolute poverty that the state is facing, the lack of food, and so on and so forth. And like you said also, it's a state that's agrarian. It's also a state that has a lot of potential. In fact, I'll confidently say that in terms of solid minerals, Zamfara State has the highest mineral deposit in the country. And what we're doing right now is putting all the necessary structures in place in terms of getting investors who will invest in the mining sector. And that will also go a long way in terms of elevating some of the major challenges we're facing in the state in terms of infrastructure, in the area of education, in the area of health sector, and so on and so forth. Like yesterday, you saw what we did in Karanamoda, one of the hospitals that was upgraded to make sure healthcare is given the necessary attention. And we're equally doing that in the area of education. Right now, we have over 350 schools across the state that we are renovating, rebuilding, and we're also building capacity. So with all these changes taking place, it has considerably bring down the insecurity issue. And we're changing the narrative in Zamfara State. We have the least in terms of infrastructure, and we're doing so much now to make sure, we have adequate roads, we have water supply, and so many other things. So it's an ongoing process. We're just barely 1 year in office, but I'm telling you, the narratives are changing for the better. And I'm hoping that this will continue so that people enjoy the dividend of democracy in Zamfara State as well as Nigeria at large.
Governor Lawal, would you nod in the positive that security in the state has greatly improved? And how do you also reckon, because there are also those controversy around whether or not you appointed Hadejia as a technical advisor in your office. Someone like Sheikh and Zamfari had said, look, some of the initiative of the modalities in tackling banditry in Zamfara State may not work, as he believes that reconciliation and you talking to these bandits will go a long way in resolving those issues. He feared that, If that is not done, sending only soldiers to chase out the bandits may not work, that the farmers may not be able to return to farm. How are you taking on some of these multi-pronged issues related to security?
Let me make a categorical statement here. I did not employ Hadejia as a special advisor. If you look at the letter here itself, with the dates, you know, something is fishy somewhere. And we issue statement that we have nothing to do with that. That was a forged letter. And all my advisors, whenever I appoint advisors, I usually tell the media that I've appointed X, Y, Z in different positions. And I challenge anybody to show me where we made that kind of statement. We are very, very transparent in everything we do. There was never anywhere we mentioned that we appointed Hadejia as advisor. But check every other advisor that was appointed in Zamfara State. The news is out there in the media. So that is something political. And we made a categorical statement that we have nothing to do with it, and we stand by it. Now, coming back to the issue of the security still, we are making conscious efforts, and there's a kind of collaboration now between the state government and the Office of the National Security Advisor, as well as Ministry of Defense, in terms of working together to make sure we achieve the kind of a desired objective for the state in terms of insecurity. So, and that is yielding results. And this is all that we have been saying in the past. Look, let there be collaboration between federal government and the state. We live here, we understand the system, we know where the issues is. And I'm happy now that there's that synergy between us and is making positive impact in terms of reducing insecurity in the state. And I hope it will continue so that banditry and other criminality in Zamfara State will be a matter of history.
So, I mean, you quite didn't answer whether or not security has greatly improved in the state. And perhaps there are those who want to know tonight whether or not the political nature or the political dynamics to the insecurity in Zamfara State has been flushed out, or are they still there?
Despite all the challenges we're facing from opposition, let me make also a categorical statement that the security in Zamfara State has improved drastically. People now are going about doing their business. In fact, your crew are here. They can testify the fact that things have improved in Zamfara State in the area of insecurity.
Let me ask you, are you under pressure from the protest that we saw, the August nationwide protest on End Bad Governance? Does it put you under pressure? Because there are those who are asking critical questions about governance in this country. And specifically, the spotlight is now on federating units. More money that is going to the state, more money that is going to the local government area. Are you one of those that are under pressure to perform, to show the people that you are really in for a good deal?
Sharon, I'm not under any pressure right now. All I'm doing is doing the right thing, bringing governance to people. And that is why we're making conscious effort to make sure we take care of security issues, and we're taking it very seriously. In the area of education, where we are at serious disadvantage, we're also making conscious effort to make sure that our students go to school. And from the recent happening in terms of the gifted students, you agree with me that we in Zamfara became number 2 after Anambra State. So, I mean, that is to show you that we're making significant progress in the area of education. And so are other sectors. And that is exactly what we're also doing in the area of agriculture, by helping the farmers in a little way or whatever ways that we can that will increase productivity in the area of agriculture. The same thing in the health sector. If you go around the state now, we can comfortably say that we have done about 5 hospitals that are upgraded to any standard hospital in the country. So, I mean, that is something. Now, about the local government, yes, there may be issues here and there, But we're all in it together. And all we're doing is to make sure we have the best for our people. And we'll continue to do that.
But is there any lesson for you personally as the governor of the state that you have taken out of the End Bad Governance protest, which was like August nationwide protest? Is there any significant lesson?
Well, I mean, the lesson for me here is always good for people to express themselves so that leaders will be in check. Now, the experience about the protest, it shows concern. And I mean, as responsible government, we look at the issues and try to find out solutions to some of this problem. Because if you don't hear from the people, it means, you know, something is fishy somehow. But it's always good for people to express themselves. And I can also say that in Zamfara, it was very peaceful, especially the first week. There wasn't any issue, you know, and it's okay. We're handling the situation. But people should always speak. Yes, it's allowed. At least that will also put some of us in a right position to remember that we have responsibility as leaders and we're expected to deliver good governance. And I can tell you also in Zamfara, we're very transparent in everything we do. We are concerned about the people, and this will continue.
Governor Dauda Lawal.
Democracy.
Governor Dauda Lawal, thank you so much indeed. And I wish you the very best in the coming days. The people will need all of those wishes and the goodwill, as a lot of Nigerians are hoping for the best from their government. Thanks so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you very much, Sherman.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
We go on a break, but when we come back, it does look like there are those who have solutions and answers to the disaster in our oil and gas sector. The Pakistan president will be speaking to us. Can we see the fuel queues disappear, and how fast can that happen? We'll be right back after this break, everyone. Join us again.